You've made a great thumbnail for your latest YouTube video. You go to upload it, but something seems off. You look over the thumbnail again, but you can't seem to figure out what it is. There's just one small problem with the thumbnail that's making it look like this, so keep watching the video to find out what it is. Hey, I'm Sean and I'm a thumbnail designer that specialises in making thumbnails that get people to click. I had an old YouTube channel a few years ago where I'd upload video after video but got no success. I spent hours making my videos, and when they didn't do well, it really demotivated me, so I eventually gave up. Now, I see that if I had just made thumbnails that people actually wanted to click, then I could have gotten a lot more views. I don't want you to go through the same mistakes that I did, so I use this channel to help you fix your thumbnails and start getting the success that you deserve. Back onto the topic of today's video. The one tiny detail that could change your thumbnail from rough to great is the gap between the letters of your text. It may sound like a small thing, but it really can make all the difference. If the gap between your letters is too big, you can end up wasting space in your thumbnail and it looks pretty weird. You can also end up making the gap between the text too short. Even though it's less common, it can end up making the text harder to read. And as I've said in previous videos, if your text is too hard to read, viewers won't even bother trying and will scroll on to the next video that grabs their attention. I'll show you a few examples here. In this first one, the letter gap is way too big and gives the thumbnail a strange look. In this next one, the text gap is short and makes the thumbnail look crammed and unprofessional. When you're making your thumbnails, your ideal outcome is a video that looks like it could be on the trending tab. So any small mistakes like this ruin that. And this final example is basically perfect in terms of the gap between the letters. You'll notice that the only thing I changed between these thumbnails is the letter gap, and it is quite clear which one looks best. To show you how much of a difference this can really make, I've gotten a thumbnail from one of KSI's videos. I removed the text and tried to replace the space where it used to be. You can still kind of tell that there was something there before, but it's good enough for this example. Next, I got all the different letters, but spread them out slightly more than they were originally. It was a bit tricky, but I was still able to make it look alright. Now this is the original thumbnail. Looks great all around. And this is the version with more spread out letters, and you can see the massive difference this small detail makes on the overall feel of the thumbnail. This great thumbnail with this one minor change is just completely thrown off because of it. After those last few examples, you can now probably get why this small detail is such a big deal. But how do we actually change this in our thumbnails? For this, you should be using a proper image editing software. You really have no excuses because of free software like GIMP. You might think that it's too complicated and hard to learn, but trust me, it's a fantastic time investment. You might even come across situations where you could use it outside of YouTube, like for designing posters. Most people think of Photoshop when image editing is brought up, but I use GIMP for my videos since it's free and anyone can download it. I might consider making videos focused on using other software like Photoshop in the future, so comment below if you'd be interested in that. Once you open up whatever image editing software you're using, go and open or create your thumbnail. Click on the text tool, make sure you're in the tool options tab, and you'll see a bunch of settings in this window here. The one that we want to focus on is the one that has A and B with a line pointing two ways underneath them. If you have your text written, make a selection over it and use this setting to change the gap between the letters. I think the ideal gap is one where the letters have just a very small space between them. Once you're happy with your changes, you're done. It's really that simple. This is just one of those small things that really can make all the difference in how good your thumbnail is. So if you want to hear more from me and learn about other things that can drastically improve your thumbnails, subscribe and watch out for my next video.